Hey, fabulous listeners. We love getting reviews. We've said it before and we'll say it again. We really enjoy bringing you this podcast and we love hearing about it. So, for the month of March, if you do a review for A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss, you go into our competition, our draw for a $25 Amazon gift card. Yep, you heard it, $25 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is tell us what you think of the podcast, what episodes stand out to you, and we will pop you into our March 2023 draw, brought to you by Holistic Natural Health. Welcome to A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, lead practitioner at Holistic Natural Health Australia and #1 best-selling author. In this podcast, I aim to give you practical tips on how to accelerate and sustain your health, increase your financial, spiritual and emotional wealth, and to look at something that haunts many of us needlessly, weight loss. In some episodes, I'll have guests available to give you even more tips, but in others, the floor is yours. Drop us a line at A Magical Life Podcast on Facebook and let me know what you would like to know more about. Now, sit back and enjoy, because it is time for you to create and truly discover a magical life. Welcome back to A Magical Life. I'm your host, Magic Barclay, and today I'm joined by Alison Bladh. And Alison's going to talk about how you can harness your hormones. Now, a little bit about Alison. She's a registered nutritional therapist and beauty therapist living in the wilds of Sweden after falling for the charms of a Viking man. Having worked in the health and wellness industry over 30 years, specializing in menopausal women's health, she now runs her own online clinic, helping women worldwide to manage the negative symptoms of menopause. Welcome, Alison.
Oh, thank you so much, Maggie. It's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Thanks for coming. Now, come on, tell us about this Viking man. We all want to meet a Viking man.
Yes. Well, what can I say? I was living. I'm originally from London, it's in the UK, and I was out one evening with my girlfriends, and along comes this wonderful Viking man, and the rest is history. Really, they can be very charming,
and from what I've seen, quite rugged and alpha male types.
Exactly. Yeah, but very, very manly. The manly, rugged, and also the charm. It's quite a dangerous combination.
Dangerous or fascinating? There's both sides of the coin there.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what took me over to Sweden. So I live in Sweden now, which is a wonderful country to live in. It's so, there's so much nature, and it's got quite a small population. So I'm very spoilt, really, living, near a forest and a lake, and it's a very nice way of life in Sweden. Lots of outdoor life and exercise and fitness, so it's great.
Sounds fantastic. Now, you help ladies with menopause, and as we know from a health perspective, and something that might seem like a shock to the listeners, but menopause is supposed to be just the switch from your brain ovary axis to your brain adrenal axis with no symptoms. But many people find, hot flashes or night sweats, irritability, weight gain. And so you help people manage all of those negative symptoms.
Yes, it's exactly as you said, Magic. It can be a very difficult time for women. We all have a different experience of perimenopause and menopause. And there can be up to 40 different symptoms that you can experience. So what I do is work very individually with my clients and really, I work with the functional medicine model. where you really look at the individual person. And it's a bit like peeling the layers back off an onion, really finding out what is going on. So, then we can put a health plan together to make you feel better. Because that is very individual, and especially perimenopause, which is the phase before we actually go into menopause, where hormones are really fluctuating. You can still get pregnant, you're still fertile, but your hormone levels are fluctuating. So 1 month they can be up, they can be down. It's a bit like a roller coaster ride. And this can affect you in many ways, anxiety, weight gain, and hot flashes, and it can be really, really tough for women. So I really help to get the balance back in your life with the help of nutrition. And also lifestyle is key, and also mindset, how you approach this period in your life, because it's a totally natural thing. It's not a disease, and every single woman will go through menopause. So it should really, I like to, it should be a time in your life that you embrace and take it as a positive aspect in your life. Because as we get older as women, we're very wise, and I think we're amazing. So it should be a wonderful time in your life, because once you've come into menopause, and then when you're in post-menopause, you can live for another 30 years. So that should be a fantastic time in your life. It shouldn't. I think there tends to be a negativity around menopause. We don't really talk about it as much as we should. So I really try to help my clients, embrace it in a positive way, and help them feel better.
I love that, and I completely agree. And guys, if you're listening, please don't switch off, because guess what? You have andropause. Yes, you can go through fluctuations and things as well in hormones. So maybe you'll hear some nuggets that you can apply to yourself in our coming episodes. Now, Alison, I always ask the same 3 questions of my guests, and everybody's answers are vastly different, which I find completely wonderful and amazing. So here's your first one. What can your expertise do to accelerate health, not just the physical, but emotional and spiritual?
My expertise as a nutritional therapist, I can really get down to what is going on in your biochemistry. So what is happening in the body through testing, functional testing, and really getting down to the root cause of why you're feeling like you're feeling. And then once we know what's going on, actually coming up with a plan and using that to make you feel better with nutrition, all the wonderful minerals and vitamins, and it's amazing how you can make somebody feel better with the power of nutrition. And also not just with what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating, because there's many things that we eat that aren't maybe so good for us. And also mindset, really helping people to understand why they feel like they feel, and giving them the support that they need. Because it's all very well, telling somebody or explaining somebody what they should be doing, but actually doing it is a different matter, isn't it? So really giving them support and the encouragement and the motivation to get back their sparkle, as I say.
Totally. And as you said, we're quite bombarded with things that we shouldn't be eating or drinking or having in our home or putting on our skin. And this can all obviously accelerate the menopausal symptoms. But we'll talk more about that a little bit later. What are your top 3 tips to creating wealth, be it personal, financial, or emotional wealth?
I think the first thing I have to say is positivity. Embrace life with a positive attitude, and try and be as happy as you can, because that has a knock-on effect. If you're positive, your whole life is better, and you attract positivity. Believe in yourself. Believe that you can do what you want to do, because I truly do believe if you really, really want to do something, that you can do it. And also the third thing would be to take a little bit of risk, to push yourself out of your comfort zone. I'm a great believer in pushing yourself to do things that maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable. But when you've achieved that and when you've done that, then you kind of come up to another level. So you push yourself. Each time you do something that feels uncomfortable, you enable yourself to go further and become a better person and prosper.
Totally. And I'm glad that you brought those up, because once we get to menopause, society can often make us feel like, well, that's it. You're no longer childbearing. And so therefore you're no longer of as much value. But in fact, we're of more value because we've seen more, we've learned more, our wisdom has intensified. And now we don't have to worry about nurturing life and giving life. We can be more concerned about the bigger picture. Do you find that?
Totally. I totally agree with you. I mean, women, as we get older, we're real carers, aren't we? We look after everybody. But as we get older, we're so wise and we have so much knowledge. We should be passing that on. We should be proud of what we can do. It shouldn't be thought of as, okay, you no longer can bear a child, you're no longer fertile. It shouldn't be thought of in that negative way. And I think it's very interesting, some research that I read, that, in different parts of the world where they have more of a community, live more as a tribe, a community, that women there are really respected when they come into menopause, when they become older. And they're the wise people, that they're the people that lead everybody. And also another interesting point with the research was that in these communities where they treat the women like that, they don't suffer from as many symptoms. So it's very interesting when they embraced as being wise and needed in the community, they don't have as many symptoms as we have in the Western world.
That's actually quite fascinating.
No, it's interesting.
Wow. Now, we do talk about weight loss here, and many people, especially women, do struggle with their weight. And obviously, come menopause, the weight will gravitate to maybe a lower region, maybe a lower abdomen, where you kind of didn't have issues before. So, have you ever battled your weight? And what was your trigger to losing it if you did? And what can you offer the listeners to keep control of their weight, keep it in check, but also to fight stress? Because we know that's a key issue in weight gain, especially in menopause.
Yeah, in answer to your first question there, I've never had a weight problem. However, I've always been very active. I've always been very aware of, what I should eat in a healthy way. So I've never really had a weight issue, but I'm actually perimenopausal myself now. And I can start to feel exactly what you said, that something's shifting. You go more from like a pear shape when your hormones start fluctuating, you go into menopause, to more of an apple shape. So the body fat distribution changes. So it doesn't necessarily mean you weigh more, but your body shape changes. So I definitely have seen that in myself. But yeah, I see that in a lot of my clients, that when they come up to this time period in their lives, that they do have weight issues. Weight management becomes more difficult. And that really is due to many different factors. We still don't totally really understand why it is that women during perimenopause and menopause put weight on. The studies that have been done indicate that menopause isn't a factor in that. It's a bit unknown, really. We need to do more research. But what we do know is that there's many factors that come into play, and it's also the aging process. You can't blame everything on menopause. Some areas, for example, like stress is a huge area with weight gain. And even during the aging process, you lose muscle mass, and muscle is crucial. We really need that. Muscle uses a lot of energy. So we really want to keep that muscle. But as we get older, we do naturally lose muscle mass. We're less active as we get older as well. And then, on top of that, you've got the metabolic changes, you've got the hormonal changes. So there's a lot of different things going on, like blood sugar management, thyroid health, all the hormone imbalances, gut health. So there's many different areas that come into play regarding weight management. So what some areas that I would recommend that people, think about is two things that I say to my clients when it comes to weight management is manage your stress and manage your blood sugar, because they are two key things that will really help you manage your weight, lose weight if that's what you're aiming to do. Because stress is just so detrimental to weight loss. The hormone, the stress hormones that we produce, one in particular called cortisol, is actually a fat storing hormone. So if you're constantly, suffering from chronic stress, you will find it very difficult to lose weight. So I think when it comes to weight management, really looking at that piece first, I say to my clients, really think of doing stress management first before you even really start thinking about anything else, because that will have a knock-on effect and you will feel so much better. And blood sugar, really thinking about what you eat, trying to avoid all the refined carbohydrates and eating, whole food, whole nutritious foods. I like to say eating real foods in balance. The refined foods really just go into your system and shoot your blood sugar up so quickly that the knock-on effect of that and the hormone response to that, again, if you're constantly eating very sugary refined foods, your body will start storing fat. So it's difficult to lose weight when you're eating it in that way.
Well said. Now, Alison, people can find you at your website, which is www.alisonbladh.com. So that's ALISONBLADH.com. You're also on Twitter at Pink Tea Room, Instagram at Alison Bladh, Facebook Alison Bladh Nutrition. Now, we do love freebies here. So what can you offer the listeners and where can they find it?
I have on my website, there's a resources page where there's lots of wonderful free ebooks and meal plans, meal suggestions, from how to boost your menopausal skin to get back your sparkle. So if you go on to the resources page, you can choose which one you want to download there, or you can download them all. But there's some lovely Mediterranean style meal plans, etc. So that's probably the best place to go to.
Fantastic. Now, listeners, this was your episode in 174. In 175, Alison will rejoin us to explain just how you can get back your sparkle. Thank you for your time. Go forth and create your magical life. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe to hear future episodes, leave a review, and share this podcast. You can follow us on Facebook at A Magical Life Podcast or at Holistic Natural Health Australia. That's holistic with a W. You can find us on Instagram at Holistic Natural Health or at www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. That's where you'll access all sorts of articles, freebies, and more. Listeners, I hope you loved this episode as much as we did. Again, we want to remind you that we have our March 2023 competition going on, and all you have to do is leave a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to this podcast, or even on our website, www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au, and you will go into the draw for a $25 Amazon gift card. Yep, free giveaway. We love free stuff. You know we love freebies here. It's all waiting for you for March 2023, but hurry, this does close, so we will be notifying the lucky winner on the Holistic Natural Health Australia Instagram and Facebook pages. Stay tuned, good luck, and go leave those reviews and create your magical life.